Being a father, just a biological responsibility or the art of guiding a generation? Many believe that simply providing material needs is enough to fulfill the role of a father. But is that truly sufficient? A true father not only nurtures and protects his children, but also serves as a living example of resilience, integrity, and responsibility. You cannot expect your children to grow into strong individuals if you have never embodied those values yourself. So, what truly defines a model father? What is the difference between responsibility and the art of guidance? Stay tuned, as the principles and practical actions shared in this video may forever change how you approach fatherhood. Before we dive in, if this is your first time on my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this video. This will help me continue creating more content like this in the future. Protection and nurturing, the core responsibilities of a father. The first and most fundamental duty of a father is to protect and nurture his children. This core foundation ensures a safe environment for the child's physical and emotional growth. Comprehensive development cannot occur if basic needs remain unmet. Protecting a child physically means ensuring their safety from direct dangers such as accidents, violence, and illness. However, this role runs deeper. It involves preparing children with self-defense skills, survival awareness, and self-protection instincts. A strong father does not just shield his children from harm, but also teaches them how to navigate the challenges of the world. Physical nurturing involves providing proper nutrition, healthcare, and a suitable living environment. But this responsibility extends beyond material support. Emotional nourishment is the long-term focus. It means creating a space where children feel safe, expressing their emotions without fear of judgment or harm. When a child feels secure sharing fears and joys, a father has truly fulfilled this role. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do the right thing, even when no one is watching." A genuine father must act righteously, not for societal approval, but out of personal integrity. Protection and nurturing are not just duties but expressions of deep love. Love demonstrated through actions, not just words. Teaching and instilling moral values, building the foundation of character. A father's responsibility goes beyond protection and nurturing. It includes teaching and instilling moral values, the foundation of a child's character. A child may grow physically strong, but without ethical guidance, they can easily lose their way in life's temptations. Teaching involves imparting core values: honesty, courage, responsibility, and respect for others. However, this should not be limited to verbal lessons. Children primarily learn through observing their parents' behavior. If you preach honesty, yet hide your mistakes or shift blame, your child will learn hypocrisy, not truth. Instilling moral values means helping children understand the consequences of their actions. This involves setting clear principles and boundaries. A child needs to grasp that every action carries consequences. However, discipline here should not mean harsh punishment, but rather guiding them toward personal accountability. When your child makes a mistake, instead of just criticizing, ask, "How do you think your actions affected others?" to encourage reflection and empathy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't tell me how good a person is, show me through their actions." Being a father means living by the values you teach. A lifelong commitment, an unbreakable role. Fatherhood is not a temporary duty, but a lifelong journey. A true father doesn't just appear during significant milestones and disappear when guidance is most needed. Lifelong commitment means unconditional support, a relationship that cannot be severed. Being present doesn't mean controlling. A father's role is to support and guide, not to interfere or impose. In early childhood, a father protects and teaches life's basic lessons. As the child matures, that role evolves into mentorship, becoming a reliable advisor and confidant. The key is to give your child space for self-discovery while remaining a dependable guide when needed. An absent father leaves a void. Many believe fatherhood is tied only to financial obligations, but emotional and spiritual absence can leave invisible scars. A child raised in material comfort but lacking emotional guidance may struggle with important life decisions later on. Being present also means continuous learning. Being a good father requires personal growth, reading, listening to your children, and learning from other fathers. This ongoing self-improvement allows you to refine your role as a father. Seneca once said, "Don't talk about your time, show it by how you spend it with those you love." Leading by example, the power of practical actions. A father cannot effectively teach his children through words alone. Children primarily learn by observing their parents' behavior. Therefore, leading by example is a core principle in the art of fatherhood. Your daily actions leave a deep imprint on your child's mind, shaping how they face life, challenges, and moral decisions. Children observe more than they listen. If you teach honesty but hide your own mistakes, the real lesson your child absorbs is, lying to avoid trouble is acceptable. If you encourage patience yet frequently lose your temper over minor issues, your child will learn that patience is just empty talk. The inconsistency between words and actions erodes trust. Leading with strong character. A model father doesn't need to be perfect, but must demonstrate integrity and self-discipline. When facing adversity, show composure. When failing, admit it and learn from it. Values such as courage, humility, and responsibility should be reflected in how you live daily, not just in moral lectures. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't just preach about righteousness, live as proof of it." Practical actions to lead by example. Keep promises, even the smallest ones. Treat everyone with respect, from family members to strangers. Control your emotions during conflicts. Teaching through dialogue. The art of listening and expanding thinking. A great father is not just someone who gives orders. The true art of guidance lies in open dialogue, where children feel heard and encouraged to express their thoughts. Teaching through conversation equips children with critical thinking tools rather than imposing personal views. Active listening without judgment. Many parents fall into the trap of listening to respond instead of listening to understand. Active listening means genuinely focusing on your child's feelings and thoughts without interrupting or rushing to offer solutions. When your child faces a challenge, instead of saying, "You should do this or that," try asking, "How do you feel about this? What do you think you could do to solve it?" Open-ended questions help children develop problem-solving skills instead of relying on direct parental commands. Asking questions instead of giving orders. A wise father knows how to guide with thought-provoking questions. How do you think your actions affect others? Do you feel your recent decision reflects the values you aim to live by? These questions encourage deeper reflection, helping children build their own moral compass rather than simply obeying authority. Dialogue builds trust. When children feel genuinely heard, they become more open to sharing personal struggles. This builds a father-child relationship based on mutual respect rather than fear. Seneca once said, "To teach is not to impose, but to enlighten," creating opportunities for growth through challenges, building resilience early. A true father does not shield his children from every hardship, but creates opportunities for them to build resilience and personal responsibility. Growth doesn't come from comfort, it's forged through real-life experiences. Challenges push children beyond their comfort zones. Children need to face challenges early to learn how to handle failure and develop resilience. If a child never faces difficulty, they risk breaking down at the first life obstacle. Instead of completing their assignments for them, let them explore and learn from mistakes. Instead of protecting them from every social conflict, guide them on how to resolve issues independently. Failure is a lesson, not a judgment. Many parents fear their child's failure, yet failure itself is life's greatest teacher. A father should teach his children to see failure as part of the growth process. When your child stumbles, avoid stepping in too quickly. Instead, ask, "What did you learn from this experience?" Share your own failures to show that even adults are not perfect. Challenges teach accountability. One of the most important lessons from challenges is personal accountability. When your child makes a poor decision, don't shield them from consequences. Allow them to face the results and learn from the experience. This builds an understanding that every action carries weight and helps them develop self-control. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Do not wish for life to be easier, but for yourself to be stronger." Let's build a community of kindness by subscribing to Stoicism for Success right now and sharing it with those you wish to see live with kindness and strength. like us. Let's spread these positive values together. Principled discipline, shaping character through clear boundaries. Discipline is not punishment. It is a necessary life principle designed to guide children toward becoming responsible, upright, and resilient individuals. A father should apply discipline not to control, but to help children understand that every action has consequences. And following principles is essential for building strong character. Discipline means setting clear boundaries. Children need boundaries to feel secure and understand the limits they should respect. Without clear principles, children may act impulsively and struggle with self-control. A father should establish specific and consistent rules, such as study schedules, household responsibilities, and behavioral expectations. Explain the reasons behind the rules instead of enforcing them rigidly without context. Uphold the principles firmly, even when the child resists, while ensuring fairness. Discipline must be tied to educational consequences. When children break rules, the consequences should be educational, not emotional punishment. Instead of yelling without purpose, guide them to understand the outcomes of their actions. If a child doesn't complete their homework, let them face the consequences at school. If a child lies, explain the impact of dishonesty instead of imposing harsh penalties. Discipline teaches self-control. Ultimately, proper discipline is not about external enforcement, but about teaching children self-discipline. A child who understands the value of discipline will make the right choices, even when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Self-discipline is the key to mastering life." Always learning, becoming a constantly evolving father. Fatherhood is not a fixed state. It is a continuous journey of self-improvement. A great father understands that raising children and leading a family cannot stop at existing knowledge. To truly inspire and guide his children, a father must become a lifelong learner. Lead as a learner. Children learn not just from what you say, but from how you approach your own growth. When they see you reading, seeking new knowledge, or learning from mistakes, they will understand that self-improvement is a lifelong journey. Read books, especially on life philosophy and fatherhood skills. Seek role models from great fathers in history. Practice critical thinking and admit mistakes when necessary. Learn from your children. Growth doesn't come only from books or personal experiences, but also from your children. Children have pure, unfiltered perspectives that often reveal areas for self-reflection. Observe their reactions to your behavior. When they ask questions, don't dismiss them. Use these moments to reflect on your own actions. Learn from your failures. A strong father doesn't hide his mistakes. When errors happen in parenting, be honest and improve. This humility teaches your children accountability and personal growth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The mind should never stop learning. Like a fire, knowledge needs constant fuel." Accepting mistakes and correcting them. The strength of humility. A true father is not someone who is always right, but someone who has the courage to admit mistakes and correct them. Accepting faults is not a sign of weakness, but the highest form of maturity and responsibility. Children need to witness this lesson to understand that no one is perfect, but everyone can improve. Admitting mistakes is a courageous act. Many fathers fear that acknowledging mistakes might weaken their authority. In reality, it does the opposite. By admitting your faults, you teach. Personal responsibility. Mistakes are natural, but avoiding accountability is not. Honesty. Facing the truth, even when uncomfortable, is a sign of strength. Correct mistakes through actions. Admitting a mistake alone is not enough. A father must show actual improvement afterward. For example, if you lost your temper, don't just apologize. Work on managing emotions better. If you broke a promise, commit to keeping your word next time. Teach lessons from mistakes. Children learn best not from lectures, but from how you correct your own errors. Explain to them, "I've made mistakes too, and here's how I learned from them." Seneca wisely said, "No one is immune to mistakes, but greatness lies in admitting and correcting them." Creating a legacy of values, leaving a lasting impact. Fatherhood is not just about raising a single generation. It's about building a legacy, one made of principles, values, and life lessons that last far beyond your lifetime. A father's legacy isn't measured in wealth, but in the lasting values passed down through generations. A legacy of core values. A true father passes down moral principles that his children can carry for life. Honesty. Speaking the truth, even when difficult. Personal responsibility. Owning actions and their consequences. Resilience. Rising after failure without giving up. These values cannot be taught through words alone. They must be demonstrated through daily actions. When your child sees you staying patient, respecting others, and keeping your promises, the lesson becomes far more powerful than any speech. A legacy of personal stories. Your life experiences can teach powerful lessons. Share stories of your struggles, failures, and how you overcame them. These stories help children understand that mistakes are part of life. Success comes from consistent effort, not luck. A legacy is not controlling your child's future. Leaving a legacy doesn't mean imposing your dreams or lifestyle on your children. It means inspiring them to discover their own path while carrying the core values instilled in them. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "My life will pass, but the values I leave behind will endure forever." Let's come together to support our community. If you are a kind person, please hit the like button on this video and leave some energetic comments to spread positive vibes. Together, we can make a difference. Being a father is not a title. It is a series of daily actions reflected in how you live each moment. A model father does not merely teach values, but demonstrates them through consistent, practical behavior. Here are specific principles to effectively guide your children. Prioritize quality time. Spending time with your children is not just about being physically present, but being emotionally engaged. Quality time means actively participating in activities with your children, reading together, playing sports, and discussing life. Eliminating distractions, no phones, no work during family time. Focusing on emotional connection and listening attentively. These genuine moments of connection create lasting memories and help children feel valued and secure. Practice active listening. A model father listens not just to respond, but to truly understand. When your child opens up, maintain eye contact and avoid interrupting. Ask thoughtful questions that encourage openness. How do you feel about that? Refrain from reacting harshly or being judgmental. Instead, guide them towards self-reflection. True listening strengthens trust and emotional bonds between generations. Teach values through action. A great father doesn't just talk about values, he embodies them in everyday life. Keep promises, even the smallest ones. Demonstrate honesty, even in difficult situations. Treat everyone with fairness and respect, even when no one is watching. Children learn far more from what you do than from what you say. Instill personal responsibility. Help your child understand that every action has consequences. Avoid shielding them from minor mistakes. Instead, guide them to acknowledge mistakes and find ways to correct them. Explain the connection between actions and consequences. Establish clear, consistent rules and boundaries. This teaches accountability, a vital quality for personal growth. Commit to self-improvement. A model father continuously works on his own growth and development. Read books, including life philosophies like Stoicism. Learn from past mistakes and openly admit them to your children. Strive for balance between work and family. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you stronger, and live that way." Fatherhood is not a short-term responsibility, but a lifelong mission. One where a man must continuously refine himself to become a true role model and guide. The duties of protection, nurturing, teaching, and long-term companionship are not merely societal obligations, but the highest expressions of disciplined love. A model father is not perfect, but someone who acknowledges mistakes, corrects them, and keeps learning. He prioritizes values like integrity, resilience, and accountability, understanding that his children will learn from how he lives, not just what he teaches. Ultimately, consistency matters most. A truly great father doesn't just teach his children how to live, but lives a life worth emulating. Thank you for watching this video. Let's support our wonderful community by hitting subscribe and turning on notifications right now. Show everyone that you're living kindly by liking the video and sharing your experiences in the comments. Take action now to spread positive energy.